What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about a very common symptom of anxiety, and that is dizziness. All right, we're going to be talking about dizziness, vertigo, lightheadedness, off balance type feeling. We're going to put them all into one category today to make things easier. If you're dealing with the symptom, know that you are not alone. I dealt with it as well. I would deal with it whenever I would have panic attacks. I would deal with it sometimes when I wasn't having panic attacks. And that's the thing about dizziness. It can be acute where you're dealing with it just here and there, or unfortunately for some of you, it's your main cup of tea and you're dealing with 24/7 dizziness. So I'm going to share my story. I'm going to show you how anxiety can cause it. Whenever I was able to know how anxiety caused my symptoms, it helped me with acceptance. All right, so if you have health anxiety, you don't know if this is anxiety or if it's a disease, learning how anxiety can cause it can help you believe that it's anxiety. One of the biggest issues for me, I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that anxiety could cause this, that. So it took me years to accept. So hopefully these videos can help you with that. And also I'm gonna give you some tips, some things that may help you out with your dizziness towards the end. So you wanna make sure that you stick around for the whole video. But you know what time it is. Smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt. Leave me a comment down there. Let me know your experience with dizziness, lightheadedness, vertigo, off balance feeling, and let me know some things that have helped you. So with me, guys, in the beginning of my anxiety, we're talking about maybe the first 2 to 3 years of my anxiety, I primarily only would have dizziness whenever I had panic attacks, right? My heart rate would go up, my blood pressure would go up, I would hyperventilate, I would breathe very rapid and shallow. Of course, I would have all the other symptoms, the numbness, the tingling, the chest pain, but then the dizziness would strike. Sometimes this would be accompanied with tunnel vision, blurry vision. I would feel like I was gonna pass out or faint. And of course, I had cardiophobia, which is just kind of like a subcategory of my health anxiety at that time, which is heart anxiety, basically. I feared everything heart related. So this really sold that to me whenever I would get dizzy. I was like, oh my God, this really is a heart attack. I'm about to pass out and die. So that was freaking terrifying. So if you're going through that, my heart goes out to you. Dizziness is very, very common in association with your anxiety attacks or panic attacks, okay? So know that that's very possible, okay? But then as my cortisol levels in my body, my stress hormones started to build up over time, and that's kind of what happens. The longer that we have this, we start to get symptoms that are more so on autopilot, and we don't have to be consciously triggered to get them. In the beginning, it was like I would get anxious about something, I'd get triggered, and then my symptoms would start, and then I'd have them, and then maybe they die off for a little bit. But the longer that I had this, the hormones started to build up in my body, and I wasn't getting rid of the cortisol or anything like that. I wasn't really doing a lot to help myself with anxiety. So I started to get many different symptoms on autopilot. I'd get chest pain out of nowhere whenever, I wasn't even stressed and anxious. And then the dizziness started to happen with that. I'd feel off balance. I felt like my coordination wasn't very good. I'd feel woozy, nauseous. Nausea can be accompanied with the dizziness. And of course, I just felt dizzy, right? I felt lightheaded. And I would get really concerned because I still had my health anxiety. And I'm like, I'm not even in a dangerous situation. I'm not having panic attacks anymore. I'm not even fearing heart problems. And what is the issue? Why am I dizzy now? So it would make me fear all types of different diseases. There were periods of time where I was like, oh my God, am I gonna deal with dizziness all the time? And some of you are there right now. You've had anxiety for a while, and one of your primary symptoms is dizziness. You've been dealing with it for a long time, and since you fear it the most, it sticks around. All right, so how does anxiety cause the dizziness, the vertigo, the lightheadedness that you've been experiencing? First of all, I'm not a doctor. This isn't meant to diagnose you. If you've been to the doctor, you've been told that you're healthy, and you're ready to accept and move on from that, right? You're ready to accept anxiety as the reason that you're having these symptoms, then this video is for you, all right? I'm not here to diagnose you with anything. This is through my experience, my story, and my own personal research, and what I've been told by other professionals, okay? So let's go back to the beginning. Like I said, I was having panic attacks, and that's when my dizziness would pop up. It wasn't on autopilot, it wasn't chronic yet, it wasn't 24/7. So what was driving my dizziness then? First thing, fast heart rate. We're talking 160 to 180. That can make you feel lightheaded. You're pumping blood throughout your body. I'm hyperventilating at this point, rapid, shallow breathing. That would make me feel like I was dizzy, okay? The next thing, high blood pressure. For me, we're talking 160, 180, over 100, 110. That was very common for me. High blood pressure can make you feel like you are dizzy or lightheaded. Sometimes you'll have the tunnel vision as well. I would have the tunnel vision with this, blurry vision. And like I said, I had cardiophobia, so this would freak the hell out of me. And I would think I was always about to die, basically, okay, with my cardiophobia. So that was what was going on. The adrenaline push, all right, this is a stress hormone. This can actually affect the vestibular system, the inner ear, right? And that's what controls all these things, your coordination, you know, you feeling dizzy, not feeling dizzy, feeling off balance, right? Even episodes of nausea and stuff like that. So adrenaline can directly affect that, and it can happen very, very quickly. And that was what was happening with me when it came to my panic. Now, like I said, the longer that I had this, these stress hormones started to build up, especially cortisol. That's whenever you go from having an acute problem, which is just here and there. For me, it was with panic or anxiety attacks, to like, this is a primary symptom that you deal with. And that's usually what happens. The longer that you have anxiety, you start to get these symptoms that just stick around every freaking day. You used to have them here and there. Then the fear and the focus is also a reason why you still have it. The fact that you are terrified of dizziness probably is what's also keeping it around. Whenever you show fear and discomfort, it adds the anxiety and stress to it. So fear is fueling the symptoms, so they continue, or they magnify, or they get worse, right? Or at the very least, they just stick around even if they're minimal, okay? So that was going on for me. Now that it was on a more chronic level, it was because I had too much cortisol and stress hormones that were built up over time, and I was starting to put my focus and fear on it. So now I'm having dizziness out of nowhere. I'm not having panic attacks, none of that. So understand that cortisol is another stress hormone that can affect the vestibular system, which is your inner ear, and can lead to those symptoms. Something else, and I really want to mention this. I had ear issues whenever I was a kid. I had tubes put in my ear whenever I was a baby, tons of freaking ear infections all the way up to young adulthood. I bursted my eardrums a few times, either from ear infection or just swimming. So I don't have like the best ear situation, okay, or my inner ear situation, you know, it's not that great. And through the research that I've done, if you have a history of having issues with your inner ear, or you have some type of inner ear disorder, then you're going to be more likely to deal with the symptoms of anxiety like the dizziness, the vertigo, the lightheadedness than maybe somebody over here that never had any issues with their ears. So that kind of put me at higher risk. So look back, if you don't know, ask your parents if you had issues with earaches whenever you're little, ear infections, tubes put in your ear, any of that stuff, because that gave me some issues and it led to the dizziness and everything. Also, it made sense because later on I started having pressure down here around my ear. I used to have ringing, you know, tinnitus and all that stuff. So it led to a lot of ear symptoms when my anxiety started. So something to think about as well. So some of the things that I had to do to start not only getting rid of dizziness, but all of my other symptoms was changing my response to the symptoms. What did I always do whenever I would feel dizzy? Oh no, not again, not again. Oh my God, I'm about to die. Oh no, you know, I showed fear. I showed fear. Fear is actually fueling the symptoms. You've been hearing me say this on this channel for a long time now. You have to change your response, all right? I'd rather you at least try to ignore and go about your day, but for me, ignoring symptoms is very, very difficult. So something that I tell my coaching clients, if you're having trouble just inviting the symptoms in kind of casually or just ignoring or going about your day, challenge them, you know? Challenge your symptoms, confuse your anxiety. So I started to ask my dizziness to get worse. I'd be like, oh, make me fall over. You know, I would joke with myself. I'd be a little bit of, you know, show some sarcasm. I'd be like, make me faint, you know, make me faint, you know, and I wouldn't. So I'd be like, okay, yeah. And then it would start to lessen because I was less fearful of it. You know, when you give these things focus and attention and negative energy and fear, it's like pouring gasoline on this anxiety fire, okay? So changing your response is very, very important. Some of you can just ignore it and everything like that, and that's great. But for me, I had to be a little bit more aggressive, all right? So try that out if you haven't. Then we have 3 things that are very important for naturally, lowering your cortisol levels so some of the chronic dizziness can go away. So the first thing is sleep. So I get with some of you, it's hard for you to sleep. I had insomnia issues with anxiety. You know, my heart goes out to you. But some of you are just staying up because it's just a bad habit, all right? If you're staying up, especially doing things you don't need to be doing late at night, go to bed, okay? You need to be aiming for at least like 6.5 to 8 hours. You know, maybe not more than that, obviously, but try to get that 6.5 to 7 and then work your way up to 8. Again, I know what it's like to have insomnia. I will have a video just based on, you know, sleeping and stuff like that, some tips for that. but I'll have to make an individual video for that. The next thing, guys, is diet. You want to have a healthy, well-balanced diet, plenty of vegetables, you know, some healthy fruits, some lean meats. Make sure you're getting a daily vitamin to get all the nutrients that you're not getting from your diet. Cut out the processed food, cut out the BS, cut out all the sugar, all the caffeine, the excess amounts of sodium, all right? It's worth it. It's worth it for your recovery. Treat your gut good, okay? 90% of your serotonin is actually produced down there. Think about that, 90%, it's your second brain. Take care of it, protect it. A probiotic would also be something that I would suggest, okay? Either a daily one or a short-term one. The next thing, guys, is exercise. You need to exercise pretty much daily. I do recommend having one rest day a week so you can fully recover. It's very, very important because I don't want you to overtrain, because that's not necessarily going to help with your cortisol levels either, right? So I would do maybe a Monday, you know, workout, one body group, you know, muscle group, excuse me. So maybe you do chest and triceps on Monday, you know, and then the next day, I want you to just do a little bit of walking, hiking, maybe some light jogging, stretching, yoga, something like that, so you're not overtraining, giving your muscles a chance to rest and build up. Then the next day, do legs, you know, and then it's biceps and back, you know, and then calves and glutes, whatever. Divide it all up, make a plan, make sure that you have a recovery day. Exercise is gonna be huge, okay? But if you're ready to recover, if you're tired of the symptoms and you're ready to move forward with your life and start living your life the way it should be lived, please get my anxiety recovery course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp. Start your recovery process today. It's step by step. It's my blueprint. It's helping so many people. I don't want you to miss out. Start living your life, okay? I'm gonna put that down below in the description and in the first pinned comment. If you haven't tried therapy, I'm gonna put a link for online therapy. Don't knock therapy until you try it, so I'm gonna put that down below. It's convenient. You can do it on the phone like this. You can do it on the laptop, the PC, the tablet. Don't even have to leave your house, all right? So for some of you, that sounds great. Try that out if you've never tried therapy. All my other resources, tips, additional things that can help you, all my social media links, all that stuff is in the description. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. Tons of videos are gonna be coming out, so hit the bell. I'm going to be uploading more often. You've already seen that the past 4 days. I don't want you to miss anything. Remember to hit the like button if you got value, all right? Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and until next time, keep fighting.